Workplace bullying does a number on your bank account and your self-esteem. And that may not be because of the bullying per se, but because of the money. I come from a country and a family where it's just all about money, where your entire self-worth is directly correlated to your actual work. My primary role model for work took his briefcase on the bus to work for a corporation in a skyscraper downtown every day for 30 years, and for 30 years it has been my utter dismay that I have not been able to create the same fate for myself. Low self-esteem is different from self-loathing. Self-loathing has a slightly different tone. Self-loathing is an existential malady characterized by this chronic feeling of core defectiveness and unworthiness. Self-loathing is what workplace bullies are doing. These people absolutely hate themselves. Low self-esteem is more situational and often relative to other people. One of the greatest wastes of time in life is comparing yourself to other people, but unfortunately we all do it. We all had expectations about how our lives were supposed to turn out, only to wake up 10, 20, 30 years later like, this is not what I meant. If you are a target of workplace bullying, I'm guessing there is something about yourself you don't love. What is it? Is it your physical appearance, your weight, your hair, your skin, your teeth? Is it your financial situation? Is it your history, your past? Or is it just your inability to make things work? Like, why doesn't anything ever work out for me? I'm not saying that you walk around all the time hating yourself the way workplace bullies do, but I bet if you sat in quiet contemplation and meditation and asked yourself whether or not you love yourself, the answer would be not so much. You may not even realize that you have low self-esteem. It sort of creeps into your life surreptitiously until you wake up one day and survey the wreckage. Low self-esteem manifests in low self-esteem behaviors: bad food, emotional eating, eating disorders, dehydration, under or over exercise, substance abuse, alcohol, smoking, pills, drugs, spending too much money, risky behaviors like driving recklessly or having sex with people that you don't even like, let alone love, or just spending time around people who are not good for you, wasting time, gaming, Netflix, YouTube, or screw it, you're just gonna go ahead and have a duvet dive day. Low self-esteem behaviors may also take the form of self-abuse and self-sabotage, walking away, quitting while you are ahead from perfectly good opportunities, situations, and people because you don't feel good enough. Low self-esteem behaviors are self-avoidance, self-abandonment to distract you from confronting your trauma. But as long as you are abandoning yourself, you're going to attract people who do the same to you. Low self-esteem can go on for so long that it starts to affect you physically. It shows in your hair, in your skin, in your teeth, in the way you dress, the way you move, the way you carry yourself. How's your posture? My posture is appalling. After almost 5 decades of hardcore narcissistic abuse, I am literally beaten down. Earlier this year, a workplace bully was publicly berating me in a virtual meeting because workplace bullying extends remotely, and I could literally feel my spine collapsing. By the end of it, it was like my collarbone was practically on top of my belly button. After that, 2 workplace bullies were ridiculing me. Same thing, my shoulders just automatically started sinking. How's your posture? You can check your posture by checking your breathing. Do you ever get a full breath of air into your abdomen the way that you're supposed to? Most people just kind of pant all day in these very shallow little breaths, like, and that just makes your anxiety worse. People with low self-esteem tend to overcompensate in some other area of their life. It could be their physical appearance, eating disorders, plastic surgery, etc. Often it's their work. It's like, well, my interpersonal relationships are not so hot, but damn it, I'm gonna kill it at my career. People with low self-esteem tend to be overachievers. Look at the tech gods in our society, Jobs, Musk, Bezos. Those are or were clearly very monumentally screwed up people, but they have made their mark on the world for what it's worth, although Amazon is apparently a horrible place to work, but whatever. The problem is that if you have low self-esteem combined with high performance, honey, that's like chocolate cake for these people. As much as we try to put our best foot forward in the workplace, if you have low self-esteem, it shows. Workplace bullies as narcissists may have no empathy, but they can be quite psychic. They know how to size you up real good. They may not be able to articulate it, but they can just pick up on this stuff. All abusers are fundamentally weak, lazy cowards, and they like a nice, soft, easy target. They're not going to go after the boss bae, the boss bitch, who slays on her phone surrounded by her clique. Workplace bullies are snipers who pick off the wounded animal at the edge of the pack. They are sharks who smell blood in the water. If you have low self-esteem, you're already doing half their work for them. When we are aware that other people are jealous of us, unfortunately, all too often, what we start doing is we self-deprecate, putting ourselves down because we know that's what other people want. I've been on that grind for decades. I will cop to it. Guilty as charged. I even have a term for it. I call it my little old me syndrome, otherwise known as get these bitches off my case. My sister taught me that. It's like, here, I'm gonna screw up my whole entire life so you will finally stop being jealous of me. If I have nothing, then there is nothing that anyone can ever take away from me, and there's nothing you can do to me that I can't do to myself. Women in particular are guilty of this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think men tend to bond through their strengths. It's okay for men to celebrate their accomplishments. Women, especially insecure women, commiserate. Catty, trashy, ugly little pick-me mean girls, the basic bitches, poke and pick and prod and pry at your insecurities until they finally unearth that golden nugget that makes them feel better, because that's the only way they can relate. In my last full-time workplace bullying experience, I was bullied by 2 female bosses who spent literal hours every day enabling each other about their respective health problems, their lupus, their diabetes, their celiac disease, whatever. It's almost like suffering is the language of women. We see this publicly. Last year, a number of women pop stars came forward about their mental health struggles, depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, etc. It was so bad, it got a write-up in the New York Times. Those women should not have to do that. They should be allowed to be drop-dead gorgeous, insanely brilliant, and stupidly rich without having to publicly apologize for their success so a bunch of insecure pieces of crap can feel better about their stupid, boring lives. The woman who is like, yeah, girl, I started my own business and I'm flipping houses and I'm already making 6 figures, that woman is probably incredibly lonely. The problem with self-deprecation is that it doesn't work. There is no amount of bargaining in the world that will ever get these bitches off your case. They will never get over it. So stop it. Jealousy is an incurable disease. My sister also taught me that. That's because the things that people are really jealous of, they can never take away from you. It's your spiritual qualities, your goodness and your light. There's nothing that anyone can ever do about that. It takes real strength to be emotionally vulnerable. In fact, I would argue that emotional vulnerability is the definition of strength. However, that is not how these people see it. Narcissists look down on vulnerability just like they look down on intimacy. They think it's weak. If you voluntarily disclose your personal pain, you are only adding fuel to the fire. You are fanning the flames. You are giving these people exactly what they want, and they will take the ball and run with it. They will have a field day. Workplace bullying is by definition a lack of respect. If someone is bullying you, for sure, they don't respect you. And the reason they don't respect you is probably that you don't respect yourself very much. It's absolutely not true that people treat you the way you treat them. People treat you the way you treat yourself. I know it sucks to be judged so unfairly, to not be respected or accepted. But how are you judging, disrespecting, and not accepting yourself? Charity starts at home, honey. Stay in your lane, tend to your own garden. The opposite of narcissistic abuse is self-care. The irony is that when we are being abused, that is not the time to self-abuse. That is the time when it is more important than ever to self-care like a boss. What do I mean by self-care? Does that mean that I lounge on a divan, getting massages and mani-pedis and marathon binge watching telenovelas on Univision, whilst conducting a team of tiny elves and being fed peeled grapes by an Adonis slave who looks like Eric Bana? Self-care is not self-indulgence, and it's not diet and exercise, but there is something to be said for that. During some of my lowest points with workplace bullying, I have made dinners entirely out of bowls of Cheetos. When our energy is being drained by psychic vampires, sometimes it just feels like it just takes too much energy to take care of ourselves. I hate cooking. I have to soak the lentils and rinse the rice, and then there's all the cleanup, but I know I will feel better. Living a sedentary lifestyle is not only unnatural, but also one of the unhealthiest things you can do. The truth is that people who genuinely love themselves suit up and show up every day. Get up, shave, get your face on, get your hair done, even when they are working from home, not sitting around in the same nasty pair of sweatpants with toothpaste on them for a week. Not that I would ever do anything like that. You know that I hate New Age superficiality, which equates spiritual wisdom with happiness and calls it a day, but the truth is that it really is in our best interest to do what we can to keep our vibration high so that we are not a match for low vibrational negative energies. There is something to be said for things that make you feel good. Massages, salt baths, walks in nature, yoga, meditation, journaling, exercising, dancing to music. The abuse may have gone on for so long, and it may have gotten so bad that you may have forgotten how to take care of yourself. If you don't know what real self-esteem is, think about what it looks like in someone you know. There may not be anyone in your workplace who has any self-esteem, but I bet you know at least one person who does. At the very least, a public figure, someone in the public eye. People with real self-esteem are modest, humble, and respectful, open, curious, and friendly because they feel safe and secure inside their excellent boundaries, and giving, responsive, and engaging. They may or may not be attractive. It doesn't matter. Their work is good. It's adequate, but they're not trying to overcompensate for anything. And people with real self-esteem typically do not get bullied. I hope that helps. Take care.